Here I'm going to show you some red-bellied black snakes. Before we do, we'll pan across the cage setup. You can see they're in a rack system. We have, if you look in there at the back, there's a heat mat at the back that keeps it warm at the rear end of the cage, and the rest is cool. There you see we need a bit of dusting there, see, but that does not affect the husbandry of the snakes. Now we open up the cage. Now what you've got to understand here is this is an underbed story. You purchase them from a shop. These came from the reject shop here in Australia, and this has actually been moved. And the reason it's been moved is we've had two snakes mating, red-bellied blacks. Now you see they've pooed, they've moved around the cage. When you move your poo, we got two poos from two snakes. That's probably the smaller one from the girl, the bigger one from the boy, but I can't really say that. It could be the other way around. And there might even be three poos there I'm looking at. Anyway, cut a long story short, I'm just questioning whether that's one or two there. Either way, we have poos, lots of them. Now, they are all perfectly healthy poos. Now, black snakes are notorious for carrying worms, parasites, diseases, protozoa and bacteria and all sorts of stuff. I don't think they're connected at the moment. The male is an extremely good snake. As you can see, they're in immaculate condition. I have raised these guys from hatchlings. They are now 4-year-old, and like most red-bellied black snakes, extremely well behaved, very straightforward snakes to keep as pets. They are often regarded as the beginner elapid. Now, the cage, you have the hide, which normally sits near the heat mat, so they can just live under there. That's not essential, but they do like it. That one's made from a cut-up bucket. We actually prefer ones which are smoother on this side, on the underside of the bucket, so that there's less cracks and crevices for the poo to get caught in. You see there's a bit of yellow there. That might be from a previous poo that wasn't cleaned up properly, or wee or whatever. Anyway, we do like perfectly clean buckets, but that one, as it happens, has been scavenged off the side of the road, so what that I did have to point out may in fact have just been some other residue, not actually fecal matter. Anyway, cut a long story short, that one's good. It's hard. It's just hard enough that generally if the snakes move it around and bumps on them, they generally won't get injured. It's got the U-shaped thing, so even if they're big, they can lift it. You don't have a hole, you always have a U. And it's roughly the same size of the snakes. You saw they fitted in there. One would have fit in there too. Well, that's okay. Water bowl, we make them at home, and as you can see, it's very hard for the snakes to knock over. They don't. It weighs about 1 kilo there. It's made of cement. And here we have the poo. And I'm getting back to the poo because if you keep reptiles, you have to keep them in their cages. And the biggest problem I see in private collections, and zoo collections for that matter, is that the keepers do not keep the cages clean. They do not keep the poos out. Of course, cleanliness is godliness, and if you don't keep the poos out of it and keep them clean as fast as you possibly can, you'll have bacterial build-up, and snakes will succumb to infections sooner or later. Now, the thing with this particular cage is because it's plastic, because it's easy to clean, there's no nooks, there's no crannies, we removed the newspaper, which you can see has absorbed a lot of the moisture from the poo. Venomous snakes, when they poo, their poos are slightly runny. You see the newspaper just picks it up like a sponge. It's dry, and of course dry area is not as good or conducive to the breeding of bacterial infections. Now, having a look at this, you'll see that the black snakes are kept dry. They often live in humid environments like coastal New South Wales and those sorts of places. And where they live in dry places, usually they're found near water, so their microhabitat is still humid. These snakes will be taken to wildlife shows today, where our company Snake Busters does the only safe and legal venomous snake show, and of course we're the only people with more than 40 years independently verifiable experience with snakes. There's a few fly-by-nighters around now making all sorts of false claims in the Victorian and Australia-wide market about their experience with snakes, but invariably most of our competitors have only been in the business for 2 or 3 years, and they just don't have expertise. And basically you won't see them free handling snakes like this, and with a red-bellied black snake, I mean a 3-year-old could probably free handle this snake without any risk, because they just don't bite. Now I'm going to flip it around the camera here and give you an idea. Okay, look, see, it's just not interested in biting, and that's pretty typical of a red-bellied black snake. They're all like that. Having said that, we don't use sticks and tongs on our snakes that we use for shows, because basically it's cruel. People don't do that to their pet non-venomous snakes, and we detest the idea that people use sticks and tongs to handle venomous snakes for so-called educational displays, because it sends the wrong message. It sends the message to kids that venomous snakes are horrible, they should be bashed up and thumped around and mistreated. We believe that whether a snake has the misfortune to be born with venom or is born without, they should be treated with care and respect, and that's why we just pick them up with our hands. We treat our snakes that are handled daily for shows with all the care and respect they should have. Now these two guys are starting to go walkie-walkies, and we will have to put them in the boxes, so I'll just pick them up in the hand here to give you an idea that they are quite pleasant. And as you can see, the natural response of the snakes is to run away. It is not to turn around and bite, and provided I don't inflict pain on the snake, that's all good. Now you can see I'm actually supporting their weight, I'm barely even holding them, and the idea there is less pain on the snake, and of course pain is the big driver of snake bites. I have published a number of big papers on that. If you go to our website snakebusters.com.au, you will actually see papers that we have published in relation to black snakes and others. Just remember, when it comes to reptiles, Snake Busters are Australia's best reptiles, and we've been given the legally enforceable trademark for that because we were able to show that we had more experience. We were the only people to do hands-on with non-venomous reptiles in our jurisdiction, and also we're the only people with a guaranteed venomous snake show because all the snakes we use are devenomized, operated on by the person who knows how to do it, and they've all been vet certified and microchipped. Demand the best next time. Thank you.